Your Clawdbot is getting dumber, but I've got the fix. Let me ask you, has your Clawdbot felt off? Like it used to just get you and it could snap to attention, quickly make decisions, and now it's hazy, it's less responsive. It feels like you have to say more and it's kind of doing less. Or maybe it feels slower to create solutions. It's hallucinating things it should know, forgetting credentials it already has, or the worst, asking you to do things that it's done in the past, but it forgot how to do them. Does any of this sound familiar? You're not imagining it. Your bot isn't broken though. It's just drowning in context that is unnecessary and it's confusing your bot. And today I'm going to show you exactly why that happens, what expert researchers are saying about fixing it. This isn't just my opinion. And I'm going to give you the exact installation prompt to create a / command that will audit your memory files and fix your Clawdbot memory issues. And you can do this today, like in the next 20 minutes. The / command is called the claw memory fix. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to get every single one of your OpenClaw Clawdbots to be sharper than the day you set them up. And I really mean that because not only are you about to free up your bot's context, but you're going to sharpen its knowledge about you, your projects, and what exactly is relevant. How do I know? Because my Clawdbot and I went deep diving and studied this problem, discovered what the experts have researched and found, and then I turned this into a / command skill that has dramatically improved all of my bots' performance. You can do this too. Stick with me and I'll show you exactly how to do it, and I've made it super, super simple. And if you like tips like this and information like this, please subscribe to my channel, click the little bell because I'm always putting out information to improve Claude or your Clawdbot. Here's exactly what's happening inside your bot. Every time you start a conversation with your Clawdbot, before you've said a single word, it's already loading a stack of files. Your memory.md, your agents.md, your soul.md, your tools.md, your user.md. All of it gets shoved into its context window. The problem is, most of us have been running our bots for months, and every session, every project, every lesson learned, every fix, every debugging, every conversation, a portion of those interactions get written into your memory.md file, which means that one, your Clawdbot has less available context window to operate with, but even worse is number two, it has to try and understand thousands of lines of context every session, and some of it is completely outdated or irrelevant, but it still has to read it and try to decipher what it should care about. Here's what I found when I actually tried it with my own bot. His memory.md file alone was sitting at 25,000 characters. That's about 6,000 tokens when loading a new session, just the memory file alone. And his entire workspace context was using up 57,000 characters before he said a single word to me. That's not a memory file. That's like reading a novel every time we start a new session. It's unfair of me to give my bot that much information and expect it to know what's most relevant to me. The more information you cram into those workspace context files, the less attention the model can give to any individual subject. It's like trying to work at a desk buried in 4 months of paperwork. You're not more informed, you're just slower and more confused. When I started looking at how to fix this, I went deep. I pulled research from Peking University, Alibaba, the GitHub Copilot engineering team, a framework called MemGPT out of Berkeley, and a bunch of other practitioners on Reddit who'd been wrestling with this problem for months. And here's the thing, they all basically agreed. They have different names, different implementations, but the same core insight. And let me give you like just the plain English version of what the research actually says. Insight number one, your bot's memory has a bloat problem, not an intelligence problem. The AI model itself, it's fine. The issue is what you're loading into it before it even starts thinking. The fix isn't a smarter model, it's a leaner context. But I'm sure you probably already knew that the problem was connected to bloated context. That's probably not a revelation to you. But what I am about to show you is an intelligent way to pare down that bloat that I would bet you haven't thought about. I hadn't before I discovered all of this research. Some of that research was only published January of 2026, so it's brand new. Stick with me and I'll tell you exactly what I mean. Insight number 2. There are 2 types of memory and you're probably treating them the same. Researchers call this episodic and semantic memory, which are the same terms psychologists use for humans. Episodic memory is what happened. Here's an example. Last Tuesday, the user told me they hate bullet points and want everything written in paragraph format. That's an event log. Now, semantic memory is what you learned. Here's an example of that. Never use bullet points. This user always wants paragraphs. That's a rule. The event log is 200 words, but the rule is 15 words. Same lesson, but most MEMORY.md files are full of event logs when they should be full of rules. Every time you distill a story into a rule, you reclaim about 90% of the space that it was taking up with zero loss of useful information. Just let that sink in. A 90% reduction in context that still gives your bot pinpoint accuracy. You're not deleting information, but instead you're reframing stories into rules. Insight number 3. Archived memory is not lost memory. This one sort of blew my mind when I found it. It's a paper out of Alibaba, one of the world's largest AI research labs, called FadeMem, published January of 2026. It showed their memory system outperformed everything else on the market while using 45% less storage. And their trick? They didn't try and keep everything. They built a system where memory fades over time based on how important it is. If it's a critical rule, it has a long half-life. If it's just a casual note, it has a short half-life. We don't need to go full biological decay modeling here, but the principle is easy to understand. Not everything deserves equal real estate in your bot's working memory. Claw memory fix, the / command that I'm going to give you here in just a moment, applies this same principle to your bot's memory files. Not with biological decay, but with classification. High signal memories stay active. Low signal memories get archived. Same idea, but different implementation. So how does the claw memory fix / command do it? With 3 classification tags: added, reason, and archive, plus timestamps. It performs the same function as biological half-life when it comes to memory. This is brand new insight as of January 2026, and it's going to make a major difference in the way your bot performs. Insight number 4, GitHub's approach. Don't curate, verify. The GitHub Copilot team actually rejected the idea of doing periodic memory cleanups. They believe it's too much maintenance overhead to realistically perform cleanup function often. Their solution instead: tag every memory with where it came from and check if it's still true when you use it. We borrowed this idea for the claw memory fix. Every surviving memory entry gets a citation tag telling you when it was written, why it was kept, and the last time it was verified as still accurate. That makes every future audit 10 times faster. You can see immediately which entries are fresh and which ones need a second look. This means your bot's memory will actually become even sharper the more you run the audit in the future. The bottom line from all of this: memory files should have 3 layers. 1, a small core that loads every session, your identity, your hard rules, your active projects. 2, a searchable archive for the detailed stuff, retrievable when you need it, invisible when you don't. And 3, a historical record of everything that's been superseded, so you never actually lose anything. That's exactly how the claw memory fix restructures your bot, and you're going to notice massive gains immediately. So I built a / command that does all of this automatically, and you can have it. It's called the claw memory fix. You type / claw memory fix into any of your Clawdbot chats, and it walks through a structured 6-phase process. Phase 0, the health check. Before it does anything else, it checks that your bot can actually find what it archives. This is the part most people don't even know they're missing. Like, most people don't know it. In fact, if you knew about this or if you didn't know about this, let me know in the comments below. I'm curious about how well known this next part is. OpenClaw has a built-in memory search tool, but it silently fails if you haven't given an embedding provider. No error message, just nothing comes back. So we fix this in step 0 of the claw memory fix / command. Before it touches a single file, if your memory search isn't configured, your Clawdbot will stop and tell you exactly what's missing. The fix is an OpenAI API key. It's separate from your Anthropic subscription and it's pay as you go. And when I say pay as you go, I mean pennies a year. Even if you're a heavy Claude user, it's barely worth mentioning, so don't worry about the API cost. I actually asked Claude and ChatGPT to estimate what I would pay for this memory API as someone who's literally burning through tokens for around 10 hours a day, every day, and it estimated to be less than 10 cents a year. It's literally not even worth mentioning. So don't hesitate to get this OpenAI API connection. I've put a link in the description below on how to do that. You give the OpenAI API key to your bot right there in the chat, it wires it automatically, and you're done in about 60 seconds. Because an archive you can't search is not an archive. It's just a pile of files that no one will ever read. And that's just phase 0. That alone is worth installing this / command. But we have 5 more amazing improvements that this / command is going to produce. Phase 1, the snapshot. Before it touches a single file, it makes a complete backup. Everything is safe. Nothing gets adjusted or pruned or reworded without your review. Phase 2, classify. It reads your entire MEMORY.md file and scores every section against a research-backed rubric. 4 verdicts are found. 1, keep it in core. 2, move it to archive. 3, distill it from a story into a rule. Or 4, mark it as superseded because it's now just out of date. Phase 3 is a report. Here's the part I really like. It shows you everything before doing anything. A full audit report, section by section. What's staying, what's moving, and why. You read it, you tweak any verdicts you disagree with, and you approve it. Because if you're anything like me, you are freaked out about the idea of potentially losing important memories or context with your Clawdbot that you've worked painstakingly to build over months. This report allows you to be a human in the loop and ensure that you're not losing anything that you actually need. And the beauty of the Claw memory fix is you actually don't lose anything at all. Nothing is deleted. Things are simply archived, rephrased as a rule instead of a verbose story, or tagged as more or less relevant. Phase 4, execute. Only after you say go will it rewrite memory.md to a lean core-only file. It archives everything else and it commits to Git so you have a full recovery path. Phase 5, verify. It checks that the archive is intact. It runs a test search to confirm archive context is still findable on demand, and it shows you the before and after numbers. This part is really cool to see. I think you'll really like it because I've run this on all 7 of my bots, but when I ran this on my primary bot, Steve, his memory.md file went from 25,000 characters down to 6,200 characters. That's a 75% reduction and nothing was deleted. It was all reframed as either a rule or it's sitting in the archive where it's searchable the moment any of it becomes relevant again. Every session from now on, my Clawdbot wakes up with a dramatically lighter load and a much clearer path towards clarity without losing any context. More room to actually think about what matters right now. And I want to emphasize something again right now, please. This is one of the most important things I can do for you today. This is something that I discovered the hard way and I want to save you from it. I mentioned this earlier, but I want to restate it now with more clarity. The whole archive and retrieve on demand thing, it only works if your bot can actually search its own memory files. OpenClaw has a built-in tool called Memory Search. That's supposed to handle this. And if you're like me, you probably just assumed it was working, but it wasn't for me for months. Here's why. Memory Search needs what's called an embedding provider to work. Think of it like a search engine. Without that search engine, you just have a pile of documents with no way to find anything. Out of the box, if you haven't configured one, OpenClaw silently runs in what they call FTS only mode. And in FTS only mode, it skips all file indexing entirely. It returns 0 results with 0 error message. It just doesn't work quietly. The claw memory fix now catches this automatically in step 0 before anything else happens. If your memory search isn't configured, it stops and tells you exactly what to do. And the fix is dead simple. You simply need an OpenAI API key. Like I said earlier in this video, this is different from Claude. This isn't your Anthropic subscription. This is a separate pay-as-you-go OpenAI account just for generating search indexes. If you don't have an OpenAI account already, to get the API key, I provided a link in the description below. Just log into your account, use that link to set one up, and you're good to go in about 60 seconds. One API key works for all your bots. You don't need a separate one per bot. From that point on, anything you archive is fully retrievable on demand. Your bot's core memory stays lean, the detailed stuff lives in the archive. This is the best of both worlds. Okay. So now that we understand how it works, let's get into exactly how to install this for your bots. The claw memory fix / command is what's called a global OpenClaw skill. Global means that once you install it, every single one of your bots automatically gets access to it. You don't have to install it with each bot individually. It lives globally on your Mac Mini or virtual machine or wherever you're hosting your Clawdbot. It's in the built-in skills folder. Every skill in there loads for every bot at startup. I've made this insanely simple to install the / command skill. Just go to don'tsleeponai / claw memory fix, and I provided the link to this page in the description. The prompt tells your bot where to download the skill files from, and it walks it through the install automatically. But before it installs anything, it stops and does a security review first, checking for hidden instructions, attempts to hijack your system prompt, or anything that could damage your setup. Only if it looks clean does it proceed with the install. And if you're worried about simply installing skills that you haven't read or audited, no problem. I completely get it. I have provided links to download the skill files individually on the website for you to audit as well, or you can just give it to Claude or ChatGPT to review in advance. I've even provided detailed information on how you can add these skill files manually as opposed to using the prompt if you're worried about it. After your bot installs it and restarts, you will now have this as a / command as an option in your bot chats. And that's it. It's installed globally. Every bot will now have it. Now and in the future, they'll all know about it. Now you can go bot by bot, open a chat, and type this / command and run it. Each one walks itself through the process. If memory search isn't configured, it'll stop and ask you for the OpenAI API key. The same key will work for all of them. And by the time you've gone through all your bots, every one of them will be leaner and smarter. So let me set your expectations for what this actually looks like. When you run the audit, your bot is going to produce a detailed report before touching anything. It'll look something like this. You'll see every section of your MEMORY.md file with a verdict: green for keep, yellow for archive, blue for distill, or red for superseded. Read through it. If you see something the bot flagged as superseded that you actually still need, change the verdict. You're in control. The bot waits for your approval before executing anything. After you say go, it takes a few minutes, but you'll get a before and after. Like I said on my bot, it was a 25,000 character down to 6,200 character change. Hundreds of files indexed and are now searchable, and a Git commit with full recovery path. That was my experience. Yours might be different. It might be more, it might be less, but it will tell you exactly what the change was. Here's what I want you to notice over the next week or two after you do this. Your bot will immediately feel sharper, more present, less likely to build up stale context that isn't relevant. That's not magic. That's just what happens when a brain isn't buried under months of notes that it doesn't need right now. And don't forget, archive stuff isn't gone. When you start talking about a project that's filed away, it'll surface automatically. That's what memory search is for. And the audit itself, run it every month or two. It takes 10 minutes. The skill handles all of the heavy lifting. Remember, this is what the research by all the biggest minds in AI actually pointed at. Not a bigger model, not a smarter prompt, just a clean desk. So don't wait. Make your OpenClaw Clawdbot smarter today. The claw memory fix, skill files, the installation prompt, and the full methodology breakdown are all at don'tsleeponai.com/clawmemoryaudit. The link is in the description below. It's free. Copy and paste it and get better results out of your bot. And if this helped you, please subscribe to my channel and click on the little bell. I'm building a lot more tools like this for people who are running serious Clawdbot setups and want them to work at their best. Drop a comment if you run the audit and want to share your before and after numbers. I'm genuinely curious how bloated everyone else's bots have gotten. And remember, every day is magic. This is the 1849 gold rush. Be the prospector who mines the gold out of them hills. Don't sleep on AI.